Okay, we're live, right?
I
Hello,
believe so, yeah.
everyone. Yeah, this is Michael from Braiden Consulting, and John's here. So he'll ask certain questions about a student visa. So I hope that would be informative and useful for you guys. Hi, Mike. How are you doing?
I'm well, thank you. Yeah, I'm up in Peter at the moment, and I've actually been doing some immigration work
Ah,
while I've been here.
yeah.
Just to quickly explain to people is when you get VNG, the permanent residency, that's not the end of your journey. Even if you're waiting to get passport, you still have to do an annual notice, and part of the annual notice is also doing your taxes, and
This is
which
the
actually
path. Yes, yes, that's right.
isn't
It's
too
not
big of
that.
a deal.
Yeah, yeah.
But to then you need to pay your taxes because it looks good, of course, when you apply for your passport. So as with all processes, there are things to follow. And actually, Michael, your colleagues have assisted me with this, even though it was in Moscow. And again, another detail people might not be aware of is that you have to be in the region where you are registered as your permanent address. So your local office where you have to submit all this paperwork has to be in that region. Hence why um, even though I work in Moscow, I then had to come back to Peter. So yeah, very relevant trip.
Indeed, that's right. But today we've got another topic. So, are you familiar with student visas in Russia? Do you know like anything about it?
What I do know has come from actually one of your customers. I didn't know a friend of mine, Pavel. He got in touch with me, and it turned out that he was here in Russia on a student visa provided by one of your colleagues who had arranged that for him. He did talk about some of the reasoning behind it, but he didn't really go into much detail. Of course, that's really your job. But he, since then, he applied for quota. He actually got it and received it. So now he has temporary residency, and therefore he can now get a job, which I believe he has done successfully now. So that's been his path. So I
Uh,
know of at
yeah,
least one case where
that,
that student visa has opened doors. So if you wouldn't mind giving people a bit of a background and including myself,
yeah,
educating me a
sure,
bit
sure.
on the pathway
So
for
that's
student
right. So
visas.
let me just actually begin with your friend Pavel, right? So basically, we provide the service of getting Russian language course visa for him. And while you're here in Russia, you can apply for a quota. By the way, if you may know, you can apply for a quota with any type of visa, as well as with a student visa, right? So your friend Pavel also, we provided our service of filling out the quota application, and he won this quota using the first attempt, which is not that, it's quite unique, I would say. And yeah, we're really happy for him. So that means that right now he has this legal ground to apply for the temporary residence permit. And yes, when he'll get the temporary residence permit, then he can be hired officially like like a regular Russian citizen. So it's kind of a big deal. Yeah. But yeah, let's start from the scratch, right? In Russia, we have well two types of long-term visas, right? A student visa and a work visa. So if you would like to study Russian language, or you want to, get your bachelor's or master's degree in any kind of, management, law, economics, etc., the very first thing would be to get this Russian language course certificate. Okay, because if you want to learn, in a state university, the education most likely would be in Russian language. So the very first thing is to get the Russian language certificate, right? So, for example, we as a law firm, we have different partners, different state universities for a Russian language course, right? And yeah, let's focus on this type of visa and this particular offer. So the education starts in September, the 1st of September each year. Um, according to the law, the Ministry of Internal Affairs would approve the invitation, which is issued by the university within 21 business days. Okay, our practice shows that, well, we need around from 6 to 10 weeks maybe in order to get eventually the approved invitation, right? When you get the approved invitation, that means that you can contact Russian consulate service in your home country and basically submit the rest of the documents to get your visa stamped in your passport. Well, first of all, you will get your 90 days single entry visa, but don't worry, you will get the multiple entry visa when you'll be here in Russia. Right. So basically they stamp a single entry visa. Then you come here to Moscow, right? And 1 month before expiration of this entry visa, you submit your passport to the Ministry of Internal Affairs, and then they stamp you a multiple entry visa for the rest of the period, basically until the end of August 2025. So this is the idea. This is how you get the multiple entry visa, right? It's, if you're planning to live in Russia, it's a really good idea to learn Russian language, because that would be really, can you please tell me a few words about your Russian language skills? I think you just, improved your Russian language skills, right?
It has a bit, actually. It's improved a lot from going to Donbass, where I've been surrounded by Russian speakers and Russian language. Then I followed the advice of a Serbian soldier I met, who told me the best way to pick up Russian language, in his opinion, was Russian music, Russian films. Even if it's English films, you have a Russian dubbing or subtitles where you can connect words and listen to them. I was very lucky that through the route that I came to Russia, the company that hired me paid for a private tutor twice a week to actually sit down with me and teach me one-on-one.
Yeah.
Everything from basics, even the alphabet, I had to start absolutely from scratch. I was working in a predominantly English-speaking industry and company, which was helpful for my actual work, but every day-to-day life for me was extremely limited and restricted in where I could go and what I could do because of my ignorance of the language. Technology has helped, so I knew that you had navigators, Google Translate, of course. So the day and age that we live in does make Russia far more accessible to the foreigner. Cities like Moscow and Peter are some of the most comfortable places for foreigners. So there's two aspects to people who perhaps are not comfortable with the Russian language yet. Don't let that be a mental barrier to you, but there are periods where you have to wait. There was a good couple of months in England where I could have and should have been either teaching myself, even Duolingo, things like this. I could have been giving myself that much better chance and opening more doors if I'd have taken that time to learn language. I believe this course, the route you've just described, is probably the best to give you the best chance of a comfortable life in Russia, particularly if you're thinking long term and employment and so on and so forth, even maybe marriage, family, and all this, because then you've got to talk to doctors and you've got to deal with official bodies where it is only Russian, unfortunately.
Yeah. By the way, let me tell you a few words about the educational process. With our offer, right? So basically, our students, starting from September 2024, will have 3 classes per week. So 2 of them are online, so you could just log into Zoom meeting, and the third one is in person. So you have to go physically to the university, which is actually good because you can, you can better improve your language skills when when you see someone else during the group. the classes are, if I'm not wrong, is like 1 hour and 30 minutes each class. So basically, you will learn how to write, how to speak. So basically everything, and it's like 1 year, right? After graduation, you will get the Russian language certificate. Here, you've got several options how you can, continue your life in Russia. Well, first of all, of course, with this certificate, you can be enrolled to any bachelor's degree in Russia by yourself. So yeah, it's totally up to you where to go. You can also, if you want to change your location from Moscow to St. Petersburg, sure, it's totally possible. So you can just continue living here. But of course, let's get back to the legal stuff, right? So while you're here with the student visa, it's a Russian language course. It's very important that you cannot be hired with a Russian language course visa. That's why we always advise to apply for this quota, right? For this so-called lottery system, because if you win this quota, then you'll get this legal right to apply for the temporary residence permit. And when you'll get this temporary residence permit, you can be hired, you can receive the minimum salary, etc., etc. So that's why it's beneficial. Moreover, let me just tell you a few words about our offer for the Russian language course. So they don't have dormitories. So you should plan your stay in Russia, because very important. When you arrive in Russia, you have 7 business days to get the registration, which is a hot topic here in Russia. Yeah, there is a huge black market.
Temporary or permanent registration?
It's a temporary registration. So
Okay.
any hotel or hostel is obliged to register you.
Yeah, I was going to say, so an apart hotel is for a sort of 1-bed studio in Moscow was about 60 to 80,000 rubles a month, and they would then provide you with temporary registration, being that they are classed as a hotel, but you kind of have your own self-contained.
They should do that. They should do it. I mean, the owners, the landlords. But to be honest, I think they're kind of scary to register a foreign citizen in their apartment.
Privately, yes. Private landlords generally don't want to do it, even though the system, I believe, has been updated to possibly electronic means to do so. But I know it's quite scary for Russians, which is why, personally, I would recommend an apart hotel, at least for the first 3 months, until maybe you find other cheaper or a friend, perhaps.
2 points here. First of all, if you're planning to live in an apartment, right, we just advise to contact the landlord before your arrival, and just make sure that this person will make you a registration. Okay, because again, according to the law, when you arrive in Russia, you have 7 business days to make this registration. Second point, yes, that's right. Right now, you can apply for this registration through Gosuslugi website, basically online. But I would say this, this whole online thing is not working properly, because you may be registered after this 7 days period. So that means that you would violate this rule, and you'll have to pay this fine. Fine is not that big; it's 5,000 rubles. However, according to Russian laws, if you would have 2 administrative fines, then they can kick you out. So basically, please be sure, if you want to live in an apartment, just contact your landlord and just ask them simple question: will I get the temporary registration? It's not a permanent one, because in Russian language we have this term which is called propiska. It's not that; it's just a temporary registration, and it's very important to have it. Then, actually, while you're here in Russia, you can get married. Okay, so with any type of visa, you can get married because there are lots of clients who ask me, so can I get married with a student visa? So what's going to be next? Yes, of course, you can get married while you're here if you have your potential spouse. And let me just tell you a few words about a new law. There's a draft law on RVP and BNG, on a temporary and a permanent residence permit. Right now, it's the second hearing of this draft law. Basically, it says that if you're planning to apply for the temporary residence permit on the ground of your marriage, then first you have to be married for at least 2 years before you can apply for the temporary residence permit. And also about VNG, about the permanent residence permit. So you can apply for the permanent residence permit only if you're married to the mother of the child. So right now, this law is not into force, but we expect that, well, after our president would sign this draft law, it will become into force after 90 days, right? So if you have your girlfriend or boyfriend here in Russia, and you're planning to get this student visa in September this year, please bear in mind that most probably that this law will be enforced, right? And you will be able to apply for the temporary residence permit on the ground of marriage only after 2 years of being married. So this is just, some news regarding this new law.
Yeah, actually, I did come across that when I was doing my notice for VNG, because, of course, the next question was about passport. How does that work? They've also changed the law, I believe, recently, whereby you have to be registered together as a family at the same address, which wasn't the case before. But I digress. I did have a question regarding, you said about the Russian language course at the university. You'd have to go in person. Now, I would say that Moscow is probably the best. I've already said it's the most comfortable, or one of the most comfortable cities for an English-speaking or other language foreigner to be in. But what options are there for people who perhaps don't want to be specifically in Moscow, or perhaps not even in Peter? I ask because I know Petrozavodsk. I did an interview, or 3 interviews with foreign students there, many from India, some from Jordan. They were here, younger people, but they were studying medicine and things like this. Incidentally, those courses were in the English language. And then they also had Russian language lessons as well. So is the course or the route that you're describing with a student visa, is a university like Petrozavodsk one that potentially people could attend if they wish?
No, actually, of course, being a foreign student, you may just Google Russian universities, right? And
Right.
Lots of universities, they have this kind of programs, right, for foreign citizens, for foreign students. Right now, I'm just describing our commercial offer for those who want to relocate to Russia. And we've got certain partners, but not in Petrozavodsk or not in St. Petersburg. And we're really flexible, and we're open for new partners, and we'll be happy to cooperate with them. Yes, they have like a university in Russia, state university, might have a program in English language. It's also possible, so they can attend classes and just go there and study in English. It's totally possible. So our offer is about Russian language course, because there are lots of clients who are excited to relocate to Russia, and they really want to live here, maybe to relocate with the whole family members, and they want to, study Russian language. So that's why we have this particular offer. But yeah, of course, there are a lot of, students who, they study medicine, right, etc., etc. There are a lot of students from India, but actually from all around the world. because we have students from, from all of the countries, from, Western countries, India, Philippines. There are lots of them actually, and it's it's really positive thing, because different people want to come here, study Russian language, and potentially stay here using this path actually.
My next question is, are there any age restrictions?
Well, according to the law, no, but
Right.
The Ministry of Internal Affairs may not approve the invitation. So yeah, you may just, if you're, let's say, like 65, 70 years old, so go ahead and try to sue them, right? I would not do that, because it's just wasting your time and energy, unfortunately. So that's why, usually we ask our potential students to send us the passport scan. So we would, send this information to our university partner, right? So they would give us the feedback, right? Because again, we don't want to waste the time. But yeah, from the according to the law, there is no age restriction, and also we've got clients who are like older than 50, and they're really good students, because they attend their classes, because their main goal is to live here. So that's why they have this passion to really learn Russian language and go further. And also let me just tell you about the student visas just in general, right? Let's say let's imagine that you've got this Russian language certificate, then you want to be enrolled to the bachelor's degree, right? So if you're studying at the state university for your bachelor's or master's degree, you can apply with a full-time program, which is очная form of education. And then you can apply for the RVPO. It is a temporary residence permit issued for students only. So the main idea is that while you're studying at the bachelor's or master's degree, you can apply for this RVPO. Once you graduated, right? So when you finish your studies, then you can apply for a permanent residence permit, VNG, issued forever. So that's why it's a nice path of how you can, stay here permanently. Also, let's imagine that, you graduated your university with a red diploma, with a diploma with honors. So that means that you can skip the stage of a temporary residence permit and apply right away for a permanent residence permit. Also, you'll be exempt from passing Russian language, history, and legislation exam, which is kind of a bonus here. So that's why, if you're asking about what is the advantages of student path, so here they are, right? This is the idea. So that's how you can actually live in Russia.
The next big question, quite obvious, is what are the costs associated, not just specifically about the visa and your costs, but perhaps the language costs, the language course costs?
Yeah, actually, you can find. By the way, join our Braiden services group in Telegram. So there you can see all our commercial offers, and of course the offer for the student Russian language visa for 1 year. There are 4 installments, right? So the total cost for the education and our legal services is 215,000 rubles, and we've got 4 installments. So once we sign the contract, then we have to receive the advance payment to start the procedure, to start working on your case. So that means that after we sign the contract and we receive the advance payment, we create a work group chat in Telegram usually, and my colleague will be there for you. So you'll be accompanied through all the steps in this work group. Okay. Then the second payment is when you'll get this invitation. Let's say around 8 weeks, something like this, right? 8 weeks. The third payment is when you come to Russia and you're here already. And the fourth payment is paid after you'll get a multiple entry visa for the rest of the period. So basically we have advance payment, and then each next payment is tied to a certain result.
Mm-hmm. And you said 250,000 rubles?
15,
Does
15,
that 215,000
yes,
215,000
yeah.
rubles? Does that include the cost of the language course at the university, or is that on top?
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
Wow.
This is for education, our legal fees. And basically, we accompany you through the whole year while you're here in Russia in our work group chat. So just, if you're a client, feel free to ask any questions. We'll be, always happy to help you if you would have any questions here. And unfortunately, we don't own and certain property, and the university doesn't have a dormitory, so we cannot provide you with the service of registration because, again, it's a hot topic. But yeah, this is what you have to do by yourself. Please just, once again, just want to note that this is very important right now. Because, migration authorities, Ministry of Internal Affairs, they're very, they really check your registration here. So you may think that, well, okay, let's stop to look. I will do that later. But no, please do it just right
So
away
like you
after
said,
your
you
arrival.
only get 2 strikes and you're out.
Yeah,
It
yeah,
is
2
a
strikes.
really big deal
Yeah.
to do. Okay, I think I've covered all the questions that I've got. I guess then the last question, you've mentioned about in the Michael Braiden consulting services, but say now I'm interested and I want to proceed, what's the first thing I need to do?
Well, first, if you were a subscriber of Mike's channel, or you're into the Moscow Pals group, just text us, okay?
Right.
First of all, you'll get 10% discount on our services if you would come to us from Mike or from Moscow Pals, for example. And then we'll get started, right? So education starts in September. So we have 1 month. Actually, you can be enrolled a bit later, right? So again, usually it takes around 6-8 weeks to get the invitation. So thus, if we would start right now, then probably you would get your invitation, ready-made invitation, in early mid-September, but you may be enrolled later, let's say in October. I'm sorry,
Right.
from my voice, I get sick a little bit. That's possible, but of course, since the educational program is until August next year, so let's say if you would come here in October, the total duration of your stay here would be 11 months and not 12 months. So yeah, that's why it's better just to start as soon as possible. Normally we just first we chat. We need to understand that everything's okay with the documents. So let's say your passport must be valid within 6 months period after your visa would be finished, right? So let's say in 2026, something like this. And also you need to have some sort of diploma, right? Or educational certificate. That would be also okay. So only these 2 documents are needed to apply for this student visa procedure. Then we can, since you're not in Russia, right? Then we can sign the contract remotely. And after we get the payment here, we'll start the procedure. I will create a work group chat, and my colleagues will be in touch, and will be implementing your case.
Excellent. Yeah, I've
Um,
covered all my questions. Yeah.
yeah, thanks a lot, Mike. Do you have any questions in our chat? So I think that's, can we just check whether can we receive some questions? This is the okay. So let me just check. I think no, right? So basically, we will have this, recording of this session. So if any of your subscribers and viewers and those guys who are in the Moscow Pals chat, you may just check this video, and yeah, feel free to contact us to ask any questions regarding student visa. We'll be really happy to assist you. And yeah, let's get started, man. Let's learn Russian language. Yeah, if you're planning to be here, that would be really convenient for you.
Excellent. Yeah. Thanks a lot for your time. Thanks for answering certainly my questions and elaborating a bit from, as I say, I know Pavel, we both know Pavel. I was curious about his journey, his path, and I'm
Yeah,
very pleased to hear that not only was he successful in the student side, but then he even got the temporary quota, which was just, that really blew my mind considering all the things I had to do to get my temporary visa,
yeah,
and he just got it dropped on first try as well. I won't say I was jealous, but I was very impressed they did, especially as I think we'd only like the previous week just discussed the quota system, how it all worked, and you had said that you had a number of clients that had actually successfully done it on the first go, and then Pavel told me, "Oh my gosh, I
yeah.
got
Actually,
my
we did
temporary."
our best to how to fill out the quota application, because there is a certain box where you can describe your background, your future goals, and yeah, uh, he's a lucky guy, and so he won
Yeah.
this quota using the first attempt, and we're really happy for him.
So
My
fingers crossed for more of your clients that
yeah,
apply
yeah,
certainly for the
yeah.
temporary quota as well. So yeah, thanks a lot for your time. Thanks for your work. I think we can wrap it up there.
Thanks a lot, Mike. Mike, thank you so much. So yeah, see you next time, right? And yeah, just text us, watch Mike's videos, and yeah, we'll be in touch, right? Stay
Cool. And
tuned.
thank you everyone for listening and watching and
All
joining us.
right, all right. Bye, everyone.
Cheers. Bye.